special. Spring was the time when people fell in love, but when it comes, I just don't feel the pleasure.
It's called Sugarcane, Molasses, and Coffee Dreams. In another life, my feet wake before I do. Red earth under my nails, morning sweat already forming on the neck, roosters tearing the dark open, mountains breathing mist. No windows rattling from traffic, no pipes knocking like somebody arguing with God. Just cane. Tall, bladed, green like it means something. You don't unwrap sweetness there. You earn it. Machete through stalk, clean strike, the crack echoes. You peel it with your teeth, fibers fighting back, juice running down your wrist, sticky, alive, sweet, but not gentle. That's the difference. Sweetness that pushes back, and coffee. Not paper cup, not rush hour. An aluminum pot blackened by flame, water rolling, ground beans blooming, steam lifting slow and thick. The first pour dark enough to stain your tongue, bitter enough to demand respect. I wasn't born there. I was born where sirens stitched the night together, where you learn to read faces fast, where you swallow your words before somebody uses them against you. I grew up scanning rooms, counting exits, learning that tenderness needs armor. So yeah, I've asked myself, if I had been raised in fields instead of fire escapes, would I still move like this? Would my voice carry the same edge? Would my jaw stay set? Would I have learned hunger the same way? Because land shapes you. Heat shapes you. Pressure shapes you. Cane bends when wind hits it. I learned to bend without breaking. Molasses moves slow, thick, patient, impossible to rush. That's in me. But so is the grind. The noise, the refusal to fold. Every morning when coffee hits the grinder and that smell rises, deep, roasted, unapologetic, I don't dream about another birthplace. I taste both. The field I never saw at sunrise, the block that made me sharp, sugar in my blood, fire in my mouth, and I don't owe either one softness. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Jay Nix. You can find me on Instagram under J Nix Writes. That's JNIX Writes. And I'm also the author of Afraid of Courage, now available on Amazon. And I do have some copies available for only $10.
Thank you.
Thank you, J-Nix.
Thank you.
I believe I've heard you before. You know William Washington?
Yes, I do.
That's where I came to East Harlem to read at one of his open mics. Many. Did I say many? Years ago.
Me too.
Coming to the mic now. Where's Alex Crow?
Right here.
I have on glasses and I still can't see. I don't hear no applause. Come on, y'all.
I bet you still think of me when he asks you, hey babe, what are you thinking about? You see through the mirrors of his smoke every time he lights up in an empty room. It's such an abstract life to lead when no one tells you who you are. You can say it was the gentleman in me to accept faults I didn't have to apologize for. Carrying excessive weight I was never asked to load. Going nowhere fast and staying stuck, packing my bags for your guilt trip. She had the lips of an angel, but kissed like a demon. Every time our lusts met each other's closed eyes, my heart was as cold as the black sheep I had become. I possessed all of her fears, worries, doubts, and thirst for liquid poison until I saw the blood of my veins exercise from my body and the regret streamed a flood of dark pools, leaving no trace of life in my lungs. And it didn't take religion to free me of my sins. It was a long road to Maryland, but only a short walk to trade our glances across the venue stage. Missed opportunities met their makers, and the promises you couldn't keep looked ever so stunning under the blinding velvet lights. We knew our goodbyes would embrace in this fateful chance of a night, yet I wished we could have asked who you're here to see for just one more time. I would have traded the New York City skylines for the perfect view of your ocean blue eyes that your husband once drowned in. Motherhood was his gift that kept on giving, but closed fists and open wounds were the souvenirs of your jaded existence. She was a true California dream that would make all the boys fall in love with the beaches. Her coastline sailed her off to Oregon trails, and now the waters are too treacherous to swim in. There's not a day passes by where I don't remember being in your brown is the warmest color presence in a little house in Middle Village during the rainiest of winters. But now the leaves in Juniper Park don't settle in early autumn anymore. If the demons in me fought to keep you all alive, God would be another storybook fairy tale. So to all the women I've never loved before, please just know that I'm still lying to myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Woo. The mic is hot. Okay. Wow. Ooh, I love the open micers. Next, coming to the mic is one of our team members. No introduction except Sonia, please.
Okay, excuse me. This is a contrapuntal poem, and if you don't know what that is, it's a dialogue. One voice, another voice, and then the two merge. An Israeli Jew speaks. This is my land. God gave it to me with the covenant. This is my land. Where did your family come from? The Poles tried to murder my family many times over the centuries. The Germans murdered all my grandparents in death camps. The Grand Mufti of Jerusalem met with Hitler and said they had the same enemies, including the Jews. This is my land. I bought it. I paid cash. This is my land. This is my land. I must defend myself by any means necessary. A Palestinian speaks. This is my land. My family has lived here for more than 800 years. This is my land. Your family lived in Poland for hundreds of years. This is my land. It's not my fault the Poles are anti-Semitic. It's not my fault the Germans invented the Holocaust. Jewish people aren't my enemy. I didn't elect the Grand Mufti. He doesn't speak for me. This is my land. You didn't buy it from me. You bought it from the absentee landowner. This is my land. This is my land. I want liberation by any means necessary. An Israeli Jew speaks, a Palestinian speaks. This is my land. God gave it to me with the covenant. This is my land. My family has lived here for more than 800 years. This is my land. Where did your family come from? This is my land. Your family lived in Poland for hundreds of years. The Poles tried to murder my family many times over the centuries. This is my land. It's not my fault the Poles are anti-Semitic. The Germans murdered all of my grandparents in death camps. It's not my fault the Germans invented the Holocaust. The Grand Mufti of Jerusalem met with Hitler and said they had the same enemies, including the Jews. Jewish people aren't my enemy. I didn't elect the Grand Mufti. He doesn't speak for me. This is my land. I bought it. I paid cash. This is my land. You didn't buy it from me. You bought it from the absentee landowner. And this is my land. This is my land. This is my land. This is my land. I must defend myself by any means necessary. I must have liberation by any means necessary. And then the questions. Each people claims from the river to the sea. What will happen to the other people? Can there be one state, or can there be two states? Will there be Jewish supremacy or Palestinian supremacy? Why is it only one or the other? Why can't they learn to play together? Why can't they learn to live together? How could this have happened differently? What second chances are left for this tiny country that now exists with all the power, or for the Palestinians, citizens of no country and very little power? Too many questions, not enough answers. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Sonia. I don't understand why people don't like to share. That's crazy. Anyway, coming to the mic for us to remember. Samson. And I want to read one of his poems. Samson was a poet. He's no longer walking this earth, but this is what grabbed me, and it's called Karma. Karma and I are friends. Rewrite the days, dazzle the nights. We don't pretend nor defend the ways of the wicked. We chat about fallen kings, unfaithful queens, and dark wars. Joy is painted in our face, merged with our hearts. We see the humble servants, righteous one's peace, and the miracle workers. I adorn myself in white linen with stripes of crimson. Karma drapes itself in scarlet silk. It carries a sword of onyx. We joke about the haunted one's demise. We laugh at the outcome of their ways. It is sweet to its heart. Does karma have a heart? Yes. It gives karma protection and victory. Truly, karma is my friend to the end. Thanks, Samson. Coming to the mic is my friend from the Bronx, Frida Dane.
So I had a lot more to share about Samson, but today is the day for our features, and I don't want to take too much time from them. However, I do want, maybe I will be able to break up Samson's story in two parts, because Samson is also Modavia LaBeija, who I grew up with his mom and his grandma, and he became a transgender woman. And then at some point he reached out to me around 2014 or 15, I can't remember exactly, and we together journeyed as he tried to reclaim himself and try to find himself as both Modavia and Samson. And this is a picture of him. He actually published 2 novels, was working on a third, and he passed. He published 4 books of poetry, which I'm going to double check to see if they can still be reached on Amazon. And this is his image, his cool Modi type of image, but he was one of the kindest persons that you want to know. I will share, I had picked 2 poems, but since,
I read one. So
yeah, I'm going to read what I can. Okay, so, actually, I'm going to use this. Okay, so this one is called, this is not necessarily the most iconic poems, but this one grabbed me. Souls of the Silent. I love all your perfect imperfections. The heart is a savage hunter. Cold death in the chamber. Rough justice for all people. The souls of the silent. You're desperate for a champion, but you love the poison. Onto my web you crawl. You're going to fall. I do what I must, because the power of lust, sex is a must. But there's no one to trust. You humans are hard as stone. They never learn, but blame God for their failures, their wounds, the souls of the silent. Deliver my poison and forget my shame. Everyone knows I'm a mere mortal man. They all know I can love everyone the same. I'm not out for fame. My enormous manhood I haven't tamed. Kiss me, screw me, stroke me, it's all the same. Love me and I might change. Into my mind I see passion and lust. Within my eyes I show you what you really want. The souls of the silent will scream the truth. Drinks, drugs I used to do. It turned into a fairy tale. It made me burn the sheets. We must meet so I can taste your sweet nectar and show the world the power of lust. I will not fuss, but my sex will silence you, and then you will join the souls of the silent. Cry for me, die for me, seduce me. Then we will join the souls of the silent. Now this piece came from his very first book. And the second piece I'm going to share quickly is from the second. So there was 4 books, and it basically, kind of showed his journey from being a top model in the ballroom world of voguing and so forth. Very famous as Moldavia. However, he wanted to find himself as Samson. So he wrote this book. It was called Frozen Side of the Sun. Deceitful Desert. I trek across the hot sand with the burning sun beating my back. Sweat dances down my forehead like people dancing through a festival. It soaks my shirt as it races down my back like a roller coaster at a theme park. I am not alone. There are people around me who travel in the same direction. My protection is low. Many complain, some act insane. They willingly drag their negativity behind them. It weighs them down. They don't care. It has become part of them. They need it to survive. I close my heart and my ears. I must survive. I have to reach my destination. They plot, yell, and steal. Then they wonder why bad things happen to them. I spread my arms to keep my space clear from their mental games. My protection grows. Hot rocks, dead plants, dusty corpses of animals spread everywhere, not the two-legged kind. They're fine. Some are drunk with money and power, some with wine. No one is shielded from this deceitful desert. Many will die in it. Some will accept it. Others will make the best of it. Few will escape it. I close my eyes. I shut out everything around me. Hot sand, scorching sun, along with the people, deadly tongue. Suddenly, when I open my eyes, I find myself standing in the center of a white waterfall. Waves of peace cover me. Blue truth and love wash over me, soothing my heart, my mind, my soul. I made it through greed. I climbed through the gloom. I survived the deceitful desert of negativity. I endured it. I survived. My protection is complete. Thank you. Thank you, Samson.
Thank you.
He was a good guy. We're going to have one more on the open mic. And then you've got to hear our first feature. Maria, please.
Hola, everybody. So beautiful to be in person. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to use the stand?
Okay, so
You want to use the stand?
one
Good.
poem.
Yes.
I'm originally from Colombia, but I'm here. Okay. Bogota checkpoints. There they were, black and white, the Holstein grazing, en los altos de los prados de las alturas. And I grew up seeing them there. On Sundays, those trips to El Norte to feast on fresas con crema in the round stands as we drove to the parrillada stands for a sizzling sobre barriga. The cows were still there, like I expected, on this visit after years of not being there. They were still there. And cousin Juana's housekeeper, Isabel, of 24 years, still reigned in the home, sparkling the glasses and spoiling us with her pan de yuca and piña, zapotes, and melones in her famous fruit salad. and that Juan Valdez Café beckoned with aromas from mountains, green mountains that held Muisca secrets. Here I was. It was not in my mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow.
Is the mic hot or what?
Thanks to everybody who shared so far on the open mic, and now I'm going to introduce our first feature. David Mills. Cum laude Yale grad David Mills holds an MFA from Warren Wilson College and an MA from New York University, both in creative writing. He is currently a New York Public Library Coleman Center Fellow. He's published 3 full-length poetry collections, The Sudden Country, The Dream Detective, and Boneyard, winner of the North American Book Award and the only book of poems about slavery in Manhattan. He has a new release called Unhired Hands, which is about slavery in Queens and Massachusetts, which he will read from tonight. David Mills is also a recipient of the 2026 New York State Council of the Arts grant to write poems about Brooklyn slavery, and a 2026 NYFA grant to write about the Ciscos, who are an African-American Queens family, husband and wife, who desegregated New York State public schools in the 1890s. So welcome, David Mills.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Creative Expressions. Happy spring. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Great work in the open mic here, my brother. So I'll stay largely with this book, Unhired Hands. I actually live in Queens. Now we'll shift to Victoria Earl Matthews, who was enslaved in Alabama. Was likely the product of sexual transgression between her enslaver, who was likely her father, and her mother, who had been enslaved. She made her way to New York with a 4th grade education, started the White Rose Mission, which was sort of part of that whole settlement movement that many of you, if you know about the settlement houses like Henry Street, she was part of that as a mixed individual. She wrote for newspapers. She worked with Ida B. Wells, and I've actually been to Ida's house in Mississippi. And this is imagining her, it's a sonnet imagining her writing for this Negro weekly out of Washington called the Washington Bee. And in this period of time, late 1890s, for aspiring Negroes, sort of, how can I put it, women, I should say, domesticity was something to look towards. So this was a column like women sending in, oh, you can do this to clean your house, da, 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 da. So that's, this sonnet is kind of vibing on that. Earthenware is ceramics. Havel is a cleaning agent, a bleaching agent. Sapolio is also a cleaning product. It's called Typed Advice. Starting in 1887, Matthews wrote a women's advice column, The Home Circle, for the Washington Bee, a Negro weekly newspaper. She also might have written for the New York Times, but I couldn't actually find any articles, so I didn't want to write a piece and pretend that I did know that. And Excelsior are wooden shavings that are used for packing things. Typed Advice, after Victoria Earl Matthews. Excelsior and cedar box for woolens. Water bubbled with onions, wash gilt frames. Beware the dust that convenes under carpets. Ashes are great to sweeten earthenware. Quicksilver beaten with the ghost of eggs. Sapolio in some Havel water. Mustard invoked with boiling vinegar. These were meticulous contributions addressed to me, Victoria, editress. Some peeks at housekeeping for the Home Circle. Advice I pinched and typed in a column, my thought basket in the Washington Bee. Mull, women of our community, though housework be more prose than poetry.
So we'll go to Massachusetts momentarily. It's called Black Caps. I had a residency at the American Antiquarian Society, where they have the oldest sort of antiquarian works in this country. And there was a brother named Anthony Burns who had escaped slavery, and this was during the Fugitive Slave Act period. He escaped to Boston. He was captured, sent back to Virginia, but then there was a clamoring, and he was sent back up to Boston. Some mostly African American ministers bought his freedom, and this is about him giving a speech in a town in Massachusetts called Ashburnham. But just imagine I'm looking at this broadside, which is advertising the speech, and I'm sort of concretizing what I'm looking at. So I'm giving you the different type sizes, the fonts, but also playing with the notions of what he's talking about. So I'll do this when I'm actually referring to what the words are, and then I'll stop when I'm describing it physically. Black Caps for Anthony Burns and his speech in Ashburnham, Massachusetts. Anthony, all caps, part black, white star, sable shadow, 3/4 of an inch, a 20-line pica center justified, printed shout, condensed gothic shade, throw some. Burns, all black, all caps, 20-line pica Roman 3 and 3/16 inches of center justified, printed squawk. Who give a narrative of his first escape from, all black, some caps, 2-line pica Roman 1/4 inch of center justified, printed hush. Slavery, all caps, all black, 10-line pica antique, 1.5 inch center justified, printed yacht. His arrest in Boston, his return to the South, and his treatment previous to his final purchase on, all black, some caps, 2-line pica Roman 1/4 inch center justified, printed innuendo. Friday evening, April 13th, all black, all caps, 7-line extra condensed 1 1/8 of an inch of center justified, printed yammer. At the, all black, all caps, 2-line pica Roman 1/4 inch center justified, printed belch. Town Hall, all black, all caps, 8-line pica Roman 1 1/4 inch center justified, printed shriek. In Ashburnham, ornamented 6-line pica Roman 7/8 of an inch of center justified, printed whimsy, comma dash dash comma comma. 3 lines the thrice N CKN thick middle thin bookends. Doors open at 6.5. Lecture commences at 7.5. All black, paltry caps, 6-line pica antique extra condensed 3/4 of an inch of center justified, printed equanimity. Period. 3 lines diddy ditto the thrice N CKN thicker middle thin bookends. Mr. Burns will devote. Hold on a second. Mr. Burns will devote the proceeds of his lecture for the purpose of all double small pica Roman all caps all black 1/4 inch center justified scrunch print, educating himself for the ministry, all black. At least you know I try to be respectful of the time they said. Excuse me. Educating himself for the ministry, all black dispense caps, 6-line pica antique condensed center justified printed whoop merely an inch. Period. 2 lines thick top thin bottom twice CKN. Tickets 12.5 cents. All caps, all black, end stop, 5.5 line pica Roman 3/4 of an inch of printed distillation. W. Fuller, 3-line gothic condensed, all caps, all black, 1/2 inch rigid print, right justified, yet inequity is not. Period, 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 point blank.
Wow.
I do have copies if anyone's interested. I thank you, John. I thank you, Creative Expressions. I thank you all for being here this afternoon. Peace and blessings.
Thank you.
Happy Poetry Month.
Amazing. Wow. I told you the mic is on fire. Okay. We're going to go back to the open mic list because we have a few. They fire too. And our feature is here. Oh, I want to read. I'm on the open mic list. Okay, so I can see. Are they over there? Yeah. Since this is Poetry Month, right? Right. I like to kind of think of it as Writers' Month because not only poets, writers, playwriters, everybody, poetry is not a luxury. It is the air I breathe, the life I'm living, the twinkles in my eyes. I taste the words, I feed off the words, I hear the words before my eyes. It's appetizing and it fills my soul. I am MTK. I am a poet from the South Bronx standing before all of y'all. Poetry is the air I breathe. If I don't write, I cannot breathe, and my family suffers. That's all I got for you. Coming to the mic next, Kim. Tear it down.
So I am Kim B. Brennan, and I'm a part of a 30-30. And you know, around day 10 of a 30-30, you start looking for stuff to write about. That's what this is. Everyone in my sister's church is related to the pastor. She married into it, and she's always talking to me and begging me to come to some of the family days. Me, an empath with no boundaries, never really says no to much. I carry her emotional loads, scriptures. But this day, after 2 hours of a sermon, I couldn't follow, I really missed the coded language that was coming next in the scripture. We were all separated by gender. The women were to watch each other's feet in the basement. If only I could make it to the door of the sanctuary and out onto the street. My sister grabbed my hand and led me down to the basement, where there were rows of chairs and a small basin full of water in front of each one. I was cursing in my head, y'all. I wasn't raised to curse out loud in church. I was raised to be on my best behavior at church, not to embarrass my mother ever. I was plopped into a chair like a rag doll. An older woman with scary wrinkles pulled off my shoes, and the poet said nothing. No words came. This was back when we all wore pantyhose. You know what I'm saying, stockings. Mine were fresh flesh-toned, a deep brown. She rubbed the water on my stockinged foot. The whole thing took less than a minute. My feet now soaking wet. That's when I noticed the towel draped over her shoulder, like those old shoe shine boys back in the day. You know how they made them pop? Briskly, she rubbed each foot. Dampness was running up my nylons. She placed my half-wet feet back into my black leather pumps. And still there were no words, just a slushing sound that my feet made as I climbed back up the stairs. All of this because I was too well trained to say to anyone, and I mean anyone in that church, that I was a bit of a heathen and would not rejoice in the scripture where without notice you have to have strange people taking off your shoes and washing your feet. Thank you, Kim.
Okay, next up on the open mic, we have Patsy.
Yes. Hello. Hello. This poem is called Awaken the Wind. Blowing, blowing, blowing. The wind enters my maw, creeps into my ribs, pierce my lungs, cuts air from my heart. When you blustering rivals, your blusterings rivals hot lava, scars my nostrils and dries my lips. Your wretched cracks and whistles howl through trees, rip up roots, spread open pods, discard leaves, fruits and seeds. I daub my chest with mental crystals, mixed with camphor and coconut oil, make tea from blue vervain roots, add honey and lemon, unhollow to the mighty wind. I am asthma, I am trespassing, I am a palaver. I'll expose your wild habits. Hear me, pompous warrior. Your brand of fury is loud and cold. I cannot breathe. My nostrils burn, stifle and run. Thank Why do you torture the universe? Invisible muse, I sing you hymns of Artemis, goddess of the moon, and arias of praise. Trumpets have sounded, choirs, choir voices fill the atmosphere, harps and violins rejoice, cymbals clash, drums beat and beat. In my sonata majestic one, soprano, tenor, baritone, mouths open, heads and hands move as their bursts into sound with the choir. I lift up my voice. I am not afraid. Go back to the hills. I arise and breathe. I am free to sing a cantata praising old sages. I celebrate, I sing to grandparents whose ancient bones discern habits of seasons, foretell time to sow and time to reap, who read the night sky, foresee the rain and the storm, and the heavy moon in its various quarters, from bright moonlight to pitch black darkness. You warriors are what I breathe. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it. Do we still have, is it Adi or Adi? Adi, okay. And then and after her we have Dina. Okay, so, okay. So come on down.
Happy Poetry Month.
Thank
Um,
you.
Thank you. My name is Dina. I'm going to read a little bit. I haven't done this since high school, so I'm extremely nervous. My friend's mother just passed away last night, and she was, I don't know, mid-90s, maybe approaching 100. And I told my friend 80, and she goes, "It's still a mother," and absolutely true. This poem is about, my heart's racing. This poem is about my mother, who I never knew. Oof, okay. The Dowager's Daughter. Somewhere in back mind, there must be some residue in the first 3 summers of life. In front of the rotted wooded fence, by the once blue, by then rusted red bicycle, over which grandmother's frayed underwear swung on a line, or by the hunchback tree, plop, walnut, plop, walnut, under which the old lady next door, gone mad with solitude, spilled her guts from her commode. Somewhere there, I think, she has to be there. Sometime in those first 3 summers of life. Perhaps if I squeezed my eyes tight enough to invert them, maybe I could catch a hand, a jawline, and I'm trying so hard. Basking in the blue chill of the gone channel of my television, but my hand, it is descending down the paper like a dying fish, a flutter, a flop, one last defeated slide. I think, mother, I think, still an abstraction.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dina. And then to close up the open mic, we have Dina.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. We have 80.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Adi, and I've been writing poetry since I was 4 years old. I love poetry, and it's the first time actually ever reading my poetry out loud.
Welcome.
And I want to share with you 2 poems that I wrote as a child. Because as I get older, I don't know why, but it gets darker. So I want to share a little optimism on this beautiful summer, almost summer, spring day with everybody and give us all a little bit of hope in our lives. The first one is a little sad. I wrote this when I was 5 years old. I see before me a human being. I wonder how a being so very, very beautiful could sometimes be so very, very cruel. That was that one.
Oh.
And then this I wrote when I was 8 years old. We sat side by side on a summer's night. He was 10 and I was 8, and he was beautiful and I was not. We looked at each other, no words necessary, but I said to him, I will never ever forget how I feel tonight. And he said to me, you will forget, we all forget. And I stared and I felt my hair go on fire. And that summer, I realized that no words sometimes were better than any other word possible. And the summer and that love that never was has become more real to me than the one that was.
Thank you.
Told you the mic was hot. Wow. So you heard the fire feature, the first one. Thank you, David. Frida, thank you for introducing my poet, writer, granddaughter. Yasmine Lancaster is a multidisciplinary artist, award-winning filmmaker, and a playwright. Her play, The Little Prince, was selected in the first annual Cannes Fest in 2024 in Bentonville, Arkansas, a festival dedicated to highlighting the work of artists of color. The Little Prince was then selected again to be part of the festival at the landmark Wow Cafe Theater, also in 2024. Yasmine's poems and essays have been published by Bronx Times newspaper, Literary Review, and Nia magazine, to name a few. She's had 2 chapbooks that had sold out. One was self-published, Summer's Breath, a collection of non-traditional haikus that sold out within months. And the second chapbook called Substitute Teachers Chronicles, which was published with Harlequin Creature, right? And sold out within weeks, with portions of the proceeds supporting non-for-profits like Dred Scott Bird Sanctuary and Grassroots Artists Movement. In the summer of 2023, Yasmine was accepted into the Wild Seeds Writers Retreat as a fiction writer candidate. A proud member of Langston Parlor Poetry Saloon, Women's Writers in Bloom, and La Finca, she is excited to debut her limited edition chapbook collection. You want to tell her, alongside some new pieces and some old favorites. She wants you to know that she still loves bamboo earrings, but not sour gummy bears. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
As much as baby drool is the best, and fireflies still catch her eyes, but she would never catch them in a bottle. Please give her a round of applause. It's me.
Thank you. Thank you. Now tear the mic. All right, I'll do my best. I want to say thank you. Sorry. I wanted to be classy about all this. We'll see. I'll just be myself. So I want to say thank you to everyone for the opportunity to be here this evening. And with all of you, I'm very appreciative of the opportunity to feature. And so it feels nice to share some poetry. So this one here is it's called Skills Needed for the Revolution. 1, empathy, compassion, humor, a compass, kindness, honesty, motivation, a good mac and cheese recipe, vegan, ability to sew, creativity, a drum, hot sauce, yoga mat, quartz crystal, 2 drummers, shea butter, water, lemons, sugar or agave, ink, paper, 3 drums and a baby, someone with a disability, prayer, Granny Smith apples, braiding hands, growing hands, bonnet or do-rag, whatever one you prefer, patience, beans, cilantro, limes, deodorant, essential oils, elders, time, discernment, confidence, 4 drummers with 5 drums so someone can learn, and imagination. All right, so this is Free Verse Magazine. It's the first place I was published at, and I'm gonna read a poem from here. This one's dedicated to my mom. Mama sings, when the rent is due, when the chicken's done, when Papa comes home after being gone for so long. Mama sings when the cake rises after I shut the door, when the baby sleeps through the night, when Papa comes home after being gone for so long. Softly, Mama sings when my feet lay flat against my shoes, when Sister says, God is always on time. Mama sings every time Papa comes home after being gone for so long. Yeah. Someone asked me what Black girl magic was. They thought I would be an authority about that. They were right. So there's a little bit about that, in case you were wondering. Black girl magic, noun, origin West Africa by way of Bedside, Brooklyn, East and West Harlem, Chi-Town, ATL, San Juan, Port-au-Prince, Brixton, Soweto, South Africa, Oakland, to name a few places. She might be found. She's magical. She can be anywhere she damn well wants to be. What exactly is Black girl magical? Or Black girl magic? Or whatever you wish to call her that she accepts. Black girls are magical by definition. Black girl magic is hard to explain, but you know it when you're in the presence of it. You feel it first on the back of your neck. A reminder for some, a declaration for others that you are in the presence of something extraordinarily divine. Like when you first wake up, or in the moment when you pull yourself out of the water, your eyes are the first to adjust. You have been without magic for so long, and someone finally, kindly, bravely begins to shine. Melanin against melanin, dark matter erupts. You are filled up with cinnamon and coffee and almond and hued light. Hair that proves that gravity is not as constant as we think. Let's try this again, shall we? Black girl magic in a sentence. Serena Williams hits us with a Black girl magic again. Missy Copeland made those turns tonight full of Black girl magic. Ava DuVernay telling our stories for the world to see. Go ahead with your Black girl magic self, boo. You got the hang of it? Only thing left to do would be to practice. Like any new word you learn, to try it out in a sentence. Turn to your neighbor. Go ahead and say, I see you full of that Black girl magic. Let's see it again. I see you full of that Black girl magic. But don't get carried away and touch her hair. That's not a magical thing to do. He swears that I'm a Rasta. Convinced, I tell him that I'm not. He holds my breath like a joint, sucks it in and spits out. No. You are a Rasta. Touches my hair, Rasta. Admires my cinnamon pinky toe, Rasta. Eyes meet mine. I look away and towards the ceiling. I am flying past like sweet grass smoke, away from us both, observing with my third eye. I am in front of a smoke shop. Hanging on my thumb is a Bob Marley sticker that greets strangers before I do. Well, no wonder then. There is no space to be an American Negro in Madrid, far away from home. Being a Rasta, even if for a short while, seems like the way to go. Yeah. He licks the envelope, eyes on me. Nearby gray office talk. Water coolers dry like camel spit. On ordinary desert mornings. Sublime talk of paper clips and rumors of the stapler and the glue gun being conveniently absent. Reports and mergers and traffic jams, coffee spills on oak counters leaving residue, rings of sugar and cream, the scent of cola nut breezes past, stirring up long ago past memories of a time before this. We must stop. This. Wide hallways and closets filled with mops and brooms, and me and you, we must stop. This. I get nothing done, constant fights to the nectar, constant buzzing around. We will be seen. Someone, they might notice how you leave first than me. They will see and notice how we stand apart. When anyone mentions the obvious, I only know your whispers. I only know what your breath sounds like against my neck. We should have never begun. We should have walked past one another, but you asked about my poems. I asked about your wife. You said separated, but your finger had marks where gold rubbed tightly. But I ignored the obvious. I told myself, only ask what you want to know. Alright. So this is also published from Free Verse Magazine. Listen, like the reality is that it's really tough being poor if you weren't sure. Like I'm just letting you know, the experience is not for the weak. This poem is called Rich and Lazy. I tell you, sister, it's a lot of work being broke. Brother, you don't even know the half of it, how much effort it takes being poor. Mama, you have no idea how much time is wasted sitting in broken Crayola puke-colored chairs. I see you, sister, counting pennies, clipping coupons, jumping turnstiles, doing hair, credit the bodega. Lucy's for $5, ketchup for spaghetti, Frank's instead of meat, drink instead of juice, Kool-Aid every day, rice again, goddamn rice again. I know. This poor thing is not work for the rich and lazy. All right, so I'm going to read a few pieces from the upcoming chapbook, which is going to be available May 1st. Pre-order is April 18th. These poems were written like how stars are born as like a supernova burst of like all this light, and they just came like that, which is a real blessing. So I haven't altered them, and it's like I have a lot of guy friends, and I'm like their scenario de Bergerac chick. And they're like, I don't really understand why it's going the way it's going. That's how I imitate them when I used to be like their unofficial therapist. And I was like kind of understanding like where they were struggling to say how they felt. And like it wouldn't matter, but like the patriarchy does a number on everyone, and particularly men. And that's the funny thing, they don't think it does, right? Oh. Like they feel like it's like a paper cut. So they don't really maybe not paper cut, a paper cut. Maybe it's something they just feel like is just normal. But then like they struggle to say love. So these are all poems about struggling to say, I love you. So that's why they're called You Want to Tell Her. You want to tell her you love her, but her mirror is streaked with mud, spit, despair, and Windex. So you walk past her crying and keep your love buried inside your coat pocket sleeve. You want to tell her you love her, but she's a strange thing. Love makes her queasy, so you text her, you are brilliant. and you hope that this will satisfy the butterflies. You want to tell her you love her, but your hands get itchy every time you start to say it. The last time you went and said it, you lost a whole lot of money and keys and pride. The finger remembers and reminds you. You want to tell her you love her, but your ex-wife wore the same perfume and it confuses you and makes you doubt everything. You want to tell her you love her, and you do. And she says, please, next time, keep that shit to yourself. You want to tell her you love her, you are so afraid, so instead you kick her with your words, cross out her poetry with expensive German pens, and tell her metaphors and similes are cheap. Real love compares itself to nothing. You want to tell her you love her? She opens her mouth to say the exact same thing. And you both argue over who should get credit for saying it first. You want to tell her you love her, but you're no poet. So you cook her breakfast, but burn the toast, spill jelly on the floor, mix in shells with the eggs, and set off the fire alarms. She says nothing, but scrapes off the edge, holds your hands, and together you wash the dishes, hands submerged in soap and dirty water. You want to tell her you love her, but she's so ghetto that she doesn't understand love can't be bargained. You want to tell her you love her, but she thinks love from a poor man is a waste of time, so you save up your pennies. Right along with every word for love you find in the library. Libraries are a free place, like your heart. You want to tell her you love her, but unexpected raindrops fall in your mouth, but you push through the rain and say it anyway, even if it doesn't sound like love. So this is some excerpts from the book. So this is a new piece. I was watching this video and this gentleman was talking about how we need to chew 40 times hard food, 40 chews for our body to digest, and most of us don't. Most of us just swallow and we just move on. And I was like, dang, how many chews do I chew? A chew, right? And I just started thinking about chewing, and I'm like, and then I started thinking about how we can swallow so many things and we don't realize what we believe. If no one actually asks you, why do you believe what you believe? Then you just keep it, right? So it made me think about that a little bit. Here we go. There's power in the tongue. Most of us will never know because we don't chew through things. We swallow it whole, gulping through. They say we call our young boys who are trying to be everything that is sold to them. Not ambitious, not too scary, not too smart, not too kind. So they try to be those things. Not too ambitious, not too scary, not too smart, not too kind. Children, and we call them young niggas. YNs for short. That's okay. There is power in the tongue. And some of us use our tongues to attack and accuse girls of being fast instead of being girls. And grown men, we call them boys instead of predators. And everyone runs out the room and down the hallway, so plausible deniability is a possibility. We swallow and act confused why Kim ain't brown in a while. Why Serena is selling us diet pills. And why Jay-Z left out knowledge as the fifth pillar in hip-hop. Jehovah, this is over. Chew your food. Your mama said, we say they ate and left no crumbs. I say they swallow with no milk. That was that. Okay, so I'm going to, thank you. I'm going to read, the pandemic was 6 years ago. which is so wild to say. And so much happened in that time, you know, and it was such a strange time. Like, it made you appreciate things, you know, some of us. We were fortunate enough to be able to make it to the other side. So every time I do this piece, I always do it a little differently because that's life. So I hope you enjoy it. So I'm gonna do one. I'm sorry, I know I set this up, but I'm gonna do something real quick because it's very short. And then I'll do the piece about the pandemic. I don't believe in droughts. I believe in change. You know, the Sahara desert wasn't always a desert. It was lush and fertile and ripe, like coconut milk and mango juice and papaya leaves. And you can't tell if you stare at the sand. And your cognitive bias says focus on the saltiness of the sweat suspended on your lip, the crevice of your eye strain, the sun relentless. This sand will claim it has always been there, but history says otherwise. I don't believe in droughts. I believe that you are what you're calling a drought is just short-sighted memory. All right, now I want to thank again the opportunity to be here today. I want to thank those who are here. I want to thank the feature. Thank you guys so much. If I could fly, I would fly high, above the rain and the clouds, above me, only love and understanding around me. If I could fly like the birds in the sky, I wouldn't cry or wave goodbye. For a second of flight would be worth an eternity of fright. He says that we cannot fly, and she says we can only fly but so high. But when I fly, he and she will know it, because I will spread my wings across the endless sky, and I'll fly higher than you, higher than me, higher and further, so that everyone who said I could not fly could see. Thank you, guys.
Wow. I would like to thank Dada for allowing us to come. I want to thank all the listeners. I want to thank the open micers. I want to thank especially David Mills and Yasmine Lancaster. Thank you all. Well, we is done. I also, before I forget, thank you for those who were on Zoom listening to us. We appreciate it. Maybe the next time we'll be so up there that even y'all's names can be on the open mic list and we all can hear you. I'm not sure next month, but we will be back on Zoom. Come through and hang out. Please.
So if you I'm just going to say, if you want to be with us next month on Zoom, you can give us your email address. We'll send you the information. And then in June, we're going to be at a place called the BX Arts Factory in the Bronx.
Really?
If you'd like to come back out, yeah. We'll be in the Bronx. Thank you, everybody.
Well, I know how to act being outside. Let me think. Oh yeah, I know how to act.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.